Hi, I'm Dan Pinchbeck. I'm the creative director of the Chinese Room, and we're here at E3 talking about Everybody's Gone to the Rapture.
So what's the story going on in this game?
The story's a mystery, so it's very difficult to talk very much about it because we can't give anything away, but it's an open-world, story-driven science fiction mystery game. So you arrive in this world, something terrible's happened, everybody's gone, it's just up to you to try and work out what it is and what's happened.
Okay. When it comes to the environments, talk a little about what people are exploring.
So you're exploring a deserted valley in rural England in 1984. We've spent a lot of effort trying to really create a very authentic, very believable world that you really feel part of, that you really understand. This is a missing community, you know these people, you kind of get a real sense of their lives here, and it's quite an intimate kind of exploration. You kind of, you're looking at people's houses, you're trying to put together the pieces of who they were and where they went. So it's very much a game about kind of like learning this place, learning these people, and just getting as close as you can into the story.
Gameplay-wise, what are people doing as they explore?
It's fairly light in terms of mechanics, so you're really moving around, exploring things, looking about stuff. There's some kind of mystery to do with signals, so TVs, radios, computers are all carrying strange messages, so you're kind of like hunting them down, looking for evidence there. You also come across these strange kind of phenomenon which seem to be, when you interact with them, they create memories or fragments of things that have happened. So as you move around the space, sometimes they sort of happen around you, sometimes you're having to activate things to kind of activate TVs, radios to find story. Other times using the tilt control on the DS4 to kind of tune in like an analog radio to a signal that might exist in the space. And it creates these kind of ghostly images and memories of stuff that happened. And really, apart from that, it's like a big jigsaw puzzle. You just explore the world, find the pieces at your own pace and your own way, and gradually put together your own story of what's happened.
Why did you guys focus on 1984?
We grew up in the 80s in rural England, so it was very, very close to home, and it was a very kind of odd time in England. It was the tail end of the Cold War. There was still a lot of fear about nuclear conflict. There was things like the rising consciousness about AIDS. There was huge strikes and civil unrest going on in the UK, and it kind of felt pretty apocalyptic if you were a teenager growing up in that time. So I guess it was just really close to home, and we really wanted to make this like a personal game, that there was a lot of ourselves in it, a lot of heart in it, that we kind of thought, we know this is something which feels really real to our hearts, and if we get that in the game, we communicate that, then other people can relate to that really easily.
Will this game be different if I play versus you play based on the openness?
Yeah, it will. I mean, so there's an awful lot of scenes and stories out there, and say you're following a character, trying to understand that character. If I go off to, say, the shed in the back of Frank's garden and find out what Frank did there on Tuesday, it might change the way I understand how Frank behaved on Wednesday. So actually, you get a completely different take on things. And what we found when people have been playing it is they tend to latch on to characters that they really like, and then they'll follow them, and then their understanding of what the mystery is tends to change around. They start seeing it through that character's eyes and how they sort of interpret what's going on. So it's really interesting. We really see it as being a really exciting thing for game writing, because like you couldn't do this in any other medium. It couldn't be a film, it couldn't be a book, it has to be a game, because you're right at the center of it, and what you do and what choices you make as a player are fundamental to how you understand it. And it's a real collaboration between what we've got in the system and your imagination. We've left as much room as we can for your imagination to just flood those gaps and to really be kind of coming up with your own story with these kind of pieces that we're giving you, and your understanding of it is really central to that. So we always said we don't want to tell a story, we want you to discover one. And I think that's what makes it special, I hope.